Hiya! Welcome! So as you know, I've been collecting a lot of Weezer albums on wax lately. The majority of them are from Discogs, but I've got something, and this is what I was really excited about ever since I knew that I was finally able to get it. I've got something from eBay to show you first, and then we'll do a Discogs mail opening from international waters, or an international country. It's not literally from out the water. What am I on about? We'll do that afterwards. The first Weezer album to show you. I've had this in my collection now, must be about 2 weeks or so. I've just been waiting to show this in a Weezer specific video because I think this deserves kind of a bit of a showcase all of its own, almost. It's an album that's only from 2019. It cost me quite a lot of money though, because it's a Record Store Day 2019 issue, and it only came out for RSD in this particular form. I'm talking about another self-titled Weezer album, but this one is the Teal Album, to give it its colourful subtitle. So what the Teal Album is a covers album. It's all cover versions on this, although there's no hype sticker. It may have come with one originally, I'm not sure. There's no hype sticker to indicate the type of vinyl or Record Store Day. There is this lovely holographic Record Store Day sticker on the bottom of the back of the sleeve here. Don't know if you get those on all RSD releases now. I don't think you do. But regardless, yeah, this wasn't cheap. I think I ended up making a best offer on this, and it was still, including postage, I think £60 all in. But I wanted it so much, and I kept looking on Discogs. A few international sellers had it, but with international postage and taxes and things as well, it would have been, you know, just obscene money really. My best route, if I really wanted to have this, and it did feel like a hole in the collection, because apart from this, I've got all the other more recent 2017 or even 2016 onwards Weezer LPs in my collection now, apart from this one. It's certainly flipper money, but it's now, what, nearly 3 years old. It's like a lot of Record Store Day stuff. It becomes quite high priced on the second-hand market, and I've paid more for certain records. I'm just really delighted that I got this. The album itself, I'll tell you about the album, how it came about, to the best of my knowledge anyway. There was some years ago, 2018 getting on to 2019, there was a fan on Twitter, a Weezer fan, who started like a hashtag campaign. She tagged Rivers Cuomo, the lead singer of Weezer, in it, asking Weezer to make a cover version of Africa by Toto. Everyone knows that. They eventually did that. In fact, I think they covered a couple of Toto songs for the single that came off here. Africa and Rosanna. I'm not particularly familiar with Rosanna though. So Africa was, I think, the only single off this actually, but it then spurred them on, once they'd recorded those, to record a whole album of cover versions. And it's all really well-known stuff as well. A lot of covers albums, I think, from certain bands and artists, you go down the kind of obscure route really, like, oh, this is my favourite album track from an album that no one heard really. Whereas all these are like pretty well-known pop standards. Africa kicks off side one. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That's a Tears for Fears 1980s hit. Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, originally by the Eurythmics. Was that the one Marilyn Manson also covered? Take On Me, originally by a-ha. So side one's really going down a kind of 80s pop rock, leaning towards synth vein really. Happy Together is the last track on side A. I always forget who did that. It's a 60s one, I know that. Side B, lots more familiar stuff. Paranoid, a Black Sabbath cover, very well known. Mr. Blue Sky by Electric Light Orchestra. I'm never fond of that. It's one of those things that it seems to be kind of like a stock go-to song for like advertisers and filmmakers and stuff that, and I've got kind of sick of hearing it in sort of the last 20 years or so, and the song itself's over 40 years old. No Scrubs, a TLC cover, that was really interesting to hear. After Africa, when I first sort of did my research into the Teal album, No Scrubs was the one that I was most intrigued by really. Billie Jean, the Michael Jackson massive hit, and closing out the album was a cover of Benny King's Stand By Me. I'm so happy I got this. I don't think it's the best Weezer album though. My problem with the Teal album is that everything sounds too much like how you'd expect it to sound, if you see what I mean. With the exception of one or two things, sort of like No Scrubs, that is more of a Weezer-ish kind of take on it. Stuff like Sweet Dreams and even Mr. Blue Sky, I mean, they just sound like the originals, but they've got Rivers Cuomo's vocals on them. Yeah, there's sort of slight differences. You can hear sort of a bit more kind of pop-punk type guitar and stuff like that in certain things, but generally, even like Billie Jean, it's like you could substitute Rivers' vocals out for Jacko's, really. So, I don't know, I would have been a little bit braver. I mean, I think this was kind of a quick project for them, because this was also the year the Black Album came out. Would that have come out after this, or before it? I think probably after. It's interesting, I'm so happy I got it, because, and this particular edition as well, actually I'm going to show you in a sec, the disc of course. I think they could have gone further with it, but I think time constraints, it was like, let's just knock a covers album out quite quickly. You know, it's a lot of fun, I will give it that. Right, I'm going to show you the disc. So I have a nice inner sleeve here that's got these two-tone neon teal and pink motifs on them. It's also come in one of those anti-static bags that I think the seller would have left, but look at that teal coloured record. Probably looking a little bit pale on camera. It's not looking as bold as what it perhaps should, but it is a really nice edition. I think this also came out on black vinyl, but even that edition seems to be difficult to find. So this was really done in limited quantities, this one, which is, of course, the more limited and rare you think something is, the more you want it. Well, that's the case for me anyway. Even though I'd listened to a few of the tracks on YouTube before I'd even bought the album. Africa, I mean, you can't go wrong with Africa, the Toto classic, can you? I love that, and the video for that, which features Weird Al Yankovic, that's a lot of fun. I recommend you look that up on YouTube. Yeah, £60. I know I've overpaid really for an album, but it does fill the hole in that sort of later period Weezer collection. The Teal Album from eBay by Weezer. Right then, we've got a mail opening to do. This record I don't think is going to be quite as exciting as the Teal Album, but I'm excited by it because it's one I didn't think I'd be getting particularly soon. This is a Discogs purchase. It's another one from Italy. I seem to be getting a lot of Weezer from Italy. I got those 3 Weezer albums from an Italian record shop a couple of weeks or so back. And then a different Italian seller for this. There again, this one, once taxes had been added on, which unfortunately is the case for Discogs purchases to the UK from the European Union now. Once taxes has been added on, this was well over £40, maybe even closer to 50. This was an album, and there's still plenty of other Weezer albums. I think in previous videos I've said they've released 18 studio albums. I'm not sure that's quite true. I think it may be more like about 15. And then there's like a B-sides compilation. We'll get this one out. This is technically pre-owned. And like I say, the price for this, after conversion, I can't remember, but probably not an awful lot of change out of £50. There again, this was the cheapest I could find it. I think the cheapest edition on eBay was something like £70. So that's a £20 saving at least to start with by going with this Italian seller on Discogs. The seller has separated the sleeve out. Ah yeah, I just remembered this one is also one of those albums that comes with the CD, the same album but on CD as standard. That's nice. The hype sticker, which is not very easy to see, but it has been conserved. He's also put it in, I think, one of his own inner sleeves, but there's the original inner sleeve there as well. Rather than faff around putting stuff back when I'm going to be getting it out anyway, I'll show you. This is the Weezer album from 2010, Hurley. I really wanted this one for one particular reason, but I mean, I want all of Weezer's albums eventually. It's just some of them I think I'm just going to have to wait or hope that they get re-released in, you know, modern time, current times, because the original vinyl pressings are just so difficult to obtain for anything less than a small fortune. I don't know, I can't decide whether I like the cover or not. This is, of course, Hurley from the very popular in the 2000s weird sci-fi type series Lost. What's his name? The guy who plays him, Jorge Reyes or something like that. Yeah, it kind of dates the album a bit, calling it Hurley and then having the cover of a photograph of Hurley. I liked Lost, actually. I kind of fell away from it when it was getting a bit too sort of, oh, this is giving me a headache kind of thing every week. But eventually I did get back to watching the last 2 or 3 seasons that I needed to catch up on. I think they were one of the early things that I watched when I first became a Netflix subscriber back in 2012. God, I've been a Netflix customer for nearly 10 years now. So I was glad to get back to that. But regarding this album, I mean, it's nothing to do with Lost, I don't think. You know, maybe there might be some sort of track on here that is about the show or about Hurley himself, but as far as I know, there isn't. The main single off this that I was familiar with anyway was Memories, which is track 1 on side A. That featured during the end credits on Jackass 3, the movie that would have come out, you know, probably a little bit after this album. Brilliant Weezer single that. It features the Jackass cast as well. I don't think they're credited on the sleeve, but they might be credited somewhere on the inner. I don't think I could have got this any cheaper unless I'd really waited and just been looking all the time. Right, just have a quick look at all the other bits. There's your inner sleeve with credits, production notes and stuff. Not much to see there. This is just standard black vinyl. I don't think this came out on coloured record. It may have done, but yeah, standard black, which is fine. I've got plenty of Weezer albums now just on black vinyl. And as I say, I kind of like these, even though they're a bit unnecessary, but I kind of like it when an act bundles in the CD for free. In fact, I don't think this has been played because the... Oh no, it's not been sealed. I was looking at the wrong end of the envelope. No, this will have been played. Look, there we are. Look, the CD of the album. So, if you don't want to put your vinyl record on, then you can just put the CD on. I'd rather listen to it on record myself, but it's nice that you've got the option there. But that sort of thing, you get that with a lot of Bandcamp type indie artists. I get a few of those for my retro subscription. Like I get a record and then it's got the CD of the album bundled in with it. So I think it's a nice thing to do, if a little bit inessential if you're collecting and listening to records anyway. But that was Hurley, and I don't know anything else off this album apart from Memories. This was one, be it the eye-catching, if not exactly elaborate cover, or the fact that it had a single on it that I really like from a film that I really like, Jackass 3, or just the fact that I'm collecting Weezer now, and this was just one that came up and I was feeling in a spendthrifty mood, which I often am, especially when I'm on Discogs. I could really just spend way more money than what I've got on there. It's pretty dangerous for someone like me to be going on Discogs Marketplace very often, to be perfectly honest. And there is Hurley by Weezer. So 2 more Weezer albums added to the collection. 2 very interesting ones, I think, really. The Teal Album, only from 2019, a Record Store Day exclusive teal coloured edition. So happy I got that. It was expensive, but I knew it would be. I wanted it, and if you want something, you've got to pay for it. And also, the same with this one. Perhaps not quite as excited for it, but for all I know, this could end up being one of my favourite Weezer albums. I know that the single off it, Memories, is one of my favourite Weezer singles. I will no doubt look forward to that as well. Thank you all for watching this look at a couple of Weezer additions to the collection today. Special thanks go, as they always do, to my wonderful subscribers and generous, gorgeous patrons. Please see my usual referral links and discount codes down in the description text box. Also there is my Patreon link and a link for my lovely little Facebook group. Let's get social. I'm going to go now, and yes, I've listened to the Teal album. I will listen to it again at some point, obviously. Although my music collection is growing in droves this year, I do intend to listen to everything that I've got more than once. But I've got to start out really today by listening to Hurley. Probably I'll listen to the vinyl record version rather than the CD, but it doesn't matter, it's the same album. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next record collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!